Hey everyone, Big Bear Ballin' again. I'm gonna be making another video today. I wanted to show you guys before I got Kavan. I had a couple chests to get to grab him this morning, and then after I got Kavan, because I've had no hero this whole time. I was able to make it to rank 22 without him, but I wanted to show you guys what I was going through and then how much Kavan's helped, because he's always been an integral part of my attack the last few seasons, and I really enjoy him. I did a whole hour-long live thing, and then it didn't save to my phone. I figured out how to do the microphone. So that didn't work, and then I redid it, and then the sound was too loud, so I'm just doing a voiceover again. But I think I've got it figured out for next time to be a little better. So that's where I got Kavan, was this first battle. He obviously seekered me, and then before that were all my battles before, where I was trying to collect chests to get him. So let's see, we're gonna show you a few of these old replays before I had Kavan and just sort of how much of the struggle it was. And then we'll hop into some stuff with Kavan and then how much he's helped me since. So this is a maxed out 5 engine room. Got some good critter value there on the boom mines. He's got rocket launchers, cannons, everything. It's a giant clump. So basically I have been having to do 3 bombardiers only, and then 5 boats of staggered riflemen and heavies. With these bases, like 4 riflemen and then 1 heavy at the end. The reason I use the heavy at the end is because once I get close to the shock blaster to where I'm going to take it out, I want the heavies to be the ones to be in front. So that way they can take a little more damage than the riflemen do. So I lose 1 bombardier there to the shock blaster, but then it's got the heavies there that are going to distract it while my bombardiers take out some of the other parts of the base. Even still, I mean, my heavies are going to die pretty quickly, and I just flare this engine room over here to try and do something, and I flare the other one to try and take another one out, but I probably should have gone a little bit faster. You know, this is basically where I was at with before I had Kavan with no hero. I'd get as far as I could, grab an engine room maybe, sometimes 2, but honestly it was my defenses that allowed me to still maintain rank 21 and 22, because they wouldn't take engine rooms either, so I'd still win with 2 engine rooms taken each. This is my other replay that I did before I had Kavan, so I took out the boom mine over there. I lost a couple bombardiers early, which isn't good. And I'm still just having to use a lot of critters to try and take out everything. I should have used I only used the 4 bombardiers there on the, this is what I meant to say. Those bombardiers I just zoomed in at, they're gonna run all the way to target this shock blaster. This is that weird glitch everyone's been talking about, because they were the ones on the left side of the base. So they actually, the closest building they were at was the shock blaster when they were over there, and I didn't re-flare or anything. So because of that, they ran all the way across the ramp to the shock blaster ahead of the riflemen just to get taken out. I get why it happens, it's just a little weird. I was hoping they could maybe do something to fix that. So I ended up getting 2 engine rooms there. At that point I just sort of give up, try and take 1, but losing those 4 really hurt my attack there. Still would have probably not been able to do it, but those things always hurt. So this is one where I took out 2 engine rooms and still won, because he only took out 1 of mine. And again, this is still with no Kavan. He's got maxed rocket launchers, guys. They're starting to come around. Did a really good job with dropping those riflemen. This back end runs back and takes out all those mines, and still stay alive to take some of the damage there. So that was really good. These bombardiers side split the boom mine, perfect, and the riflemen come through. And then I'm still just doing my drops. I do end up throwing a boat of heavies on this one, because I need the extra time. So I really delay that next boat of riflemen to try and get as much time as I can to get through this base with the heavies. But you see my bombardiers are peeking out that left side because the heavies stay so close. But then my riflemen come through just in time, and I'm back in business. and I'm just checking to make sure it's still on because it, like I said, it shut on me that first time. Take out all these mines, and then I've got one more boat of heavies coming in just in time to take the focus of the shock blaster away. And again, I mean, that's my last boat. I've got 5 heavies left, and that's it. He's got all of his rocket launchers, shock blaster, all sorts of stuff. So I'm just flaring engine rooms at this point, just trying to, I know it's a lost cause, why try and go for it? So I'm using the last little bit of health I have on the heavies. I get a good shock on the shock blaster, and I'm able to take out that other engine room. And that's what it was like for me, guys, with no hero. I mean, just try and get as much as I can. Luckily, my base is pretty beefed up defensively as well, even though it doesn't have rocket launchers, and I can eke out some wins like that. Win about 50% of the time the last couple days. I was just playing for chess for at least 3 or 4 days till I got Kavan, because I knew I was in sort of a sticking point where I was going to win and lose about evenly. Now that I have Kavan, I can push up a little bit. We'll see what happens. Got one more pre-Kavan. And again, I just want to show you guys this because I know there's some other people that maybe don't have heroes yet either. And you can still do decently against these max bases if you're holding back and maxing out your own defense. It's nice to have a hero. I recommend it. It would save a lot of stress, but at the same time, you can still do a decent amount without the hero present. So I'm hoping just to show you guys how to use your troops as efficiently as possible, which I don't do here. You see that big minefield? I just lose a whole bunch of riflemen there. I should have taken that out, but I'd already used a lot of critters by this point. Those bombardiers were peeking out the left, so I used the shock. And it's still targeting them, so I have to shock it again. And then my last boat of heavies comes through. And again, it doesn't look like I'm gonna make it through this base, but they've already started targeting that one engine room. And then what I should have done is flared this right engine room immediately, but I thought I was gonna have enough troops to make it. Instead, I leave a little bit of health on it, and then I do some late critters, which is too late. And I don't take it out. If I'd been a few seconds faster, I might have gotten that, and then instead of losing on that percentage, I would have won. So little things like that. If you know you're not going to win, just try and get an engine room. If you've got the defense and you're stopping people, getting that one extra engine room can go a long way. So now I have Kavan, and I want to show you these seeker attacks against me. So we're going to show a good one first, this 249. Now my base isn't set up to stop seekers the way it is currently, but I want to show you guys how this guy was using them, and it was really good. So he does a little bit of smoke. He's got a great shock there with the flamethrower and boom cannon, and then he sends bullet out really early to go through this whole minefield of stuff over there, right? So all these seekers only have to go through those few mines, and then they're good to go. And he meets up his other 4 boats all at once with the others. And then he's trying to get bullet to the right, but he was basically double shocked there. So he had to waste a shock on the shock launcher, but it works out because it clears up all that stuff for me, or for his seekers to take those engine rooms out carefree. And bullet dies there on the right, but he did enough time distracting everything to where he only had 2 engine rooms left and basically his whole army, so there was nothing I could really do. So great job to him. I've got the one shock launcher still working, but it's a done deal by this point. So good job to him. And then next I'm going to show you a seeker attack that fails, and you can see the difference. So they do the exact same thing. It's just the little subtle things that they do differently. So he doesn't smoke his seekers there, and he uses a bunch of GBE to take out my shock launcher, which has 100% building health. And you can see his seekers on this left side have lost a ton of health compared to the other guy right before, right? He still meets up his other 4 with him, so does the exact same stuff there. But he was a lot later on dropping bullet too. And he wants to move bullet to the right side. because he took out that left shock launcher already. But because he dropped him so late, the shock launcher picked up on the seekers, and they got one big shock off on him right there, which delayed him just enough for me to do some good things. Plus, he wasn't able to get another taunt off there on the right till it was too late, and he was dead. So my shock launcher was back in play and able to start working on these other seekers a little bit sooner than the other attack was. And then the shock blaster and shock launcher is going to keep them tagged at half that engine room health left. So little subtle differences with the seekers can go a long way. You have to really understand how to use them to get the most out of them, because if you do maybe 80% right, you could still fail. It's little tiny things about those. So now I'm going to show you some post-Kavan attacks. So this was a bit of a slower one, still 114, but it was honestly faster than what I've been doing when I've been able to take out bases. He has no cannon, so I probably could have split this a little sooner, but this is my first attack with Kavan, so I was still being fairly conservative. The rifleman take out that boom mine for me, and the other one. And then now I can just do my typical stagger drop of troops with riflemen and then heavies coming in at the rear. And again, I forgot the bombardiers on the left that they're going to run to that shock blaster. So I re-flare them, but it was already a little too late. I lost basically 5 or 6 of them. So that's something to really keep in mind, because it's easy to forget, and it got me quite a few times already. So gonna redo another second wind. I've still got a little bit of the base left, but I'm just making sure everything stays covered. I've got the heavies on the left to take care of the shock blaster, which was perfect. And look how many troops I have still. I mean, it's such a difference compared to without Kavan. I can actually flare engine rooms and finish instead of have to take out every single building, just trying to take out the things that can hit my bombardiers so I can finish. It's a huge luxury. And then this was the base. This is a test for me, because I could not finish this base at all without a hero. I did one that only had 50% building health without any hero. I beat that one, barely. And it had rocket launchers too. This one doesn't. But this one has 100% building health, so I figured this would be the test for me. And again, I'm still just doing my typical stagger drop. Nothing changes. I just get to add another boat of bombardiers. So instead of having 5 boats of riflemen and heavies, I'm now doing 4 boats on these types of bases. So I'm just saving my energy so I don't have to do a ton of second winds and just keep them flowing, you know? Now, I think I get a little nervous here because the shock blaster starts hitting things. And I'm not sure if Kavan was going to make it, so I hit a second wind before he got shocked there. If you have Kavan, you want to wait till the last minute to do a second wind if possible, but if you don't want to lose them, so sometimes it's better to be careful. Now I've got a huge line of riflemen in the front, which you don't necessarily want to do, but luckily I'd taken out all those mines, and then he's got basically cannons up front. I just shocked the flamethrower to keep the riflemen alive, but all you have to do is hit a few mines, and then that big line of riflemen you had that you thought you were doing great with dies, and then you have no shield left. Kavan gets popped somehow. He was way behind all of his troops, but whatever. He dies, but I already did enough to take that shock blaster out, and from here it's just smooth sailing. Take out the stuff that can take out my bombardiers and let them just free clear the remaining engine rooms. So, 114, a little slow, but I'm just glad to be finishing those types of bases now. This guy had seekers. This is the failed seeker attack I showed you, so I knew I was going to have to be pretty quick. And with Kavan, you can do a really easy split drop now, because I can just respawn troops on the side I take Kavan to. I don't have to bring a bunch of boats. So I brought 1 boat of riflemen and 4 bombardiers, and then 1 rifleman, 2 bombardiers on the left. And again, I still have the 11-second flares. I really like, because I can still get my troops where I need them, but I can start my other drops before having to wait for a while. So shock blaster's going. Gonna use some critters to distract it. And then he's got basically nothing on this left side. So you can tell a seeker base who's using seekers when you see them, because at the moment they generally don't have a lot of defenses. That won't be the case for long, but you can sort of tell how fast you need to attack based on their layout. And then we got one more. This is a fully maxed base. Out besides the rocket launchers, he's just got 3 of them. But cannon, shock blaster, rocket launchers, you know, all the good stuff. And it's another 5ER clump in the back. So just trying to take some time, take out some of these mines. And then I'm gonna reflare this one because that shock blaster and some of the rocket launchers were starting to get in range on the left. And I just didn't want my bombardiers to get picked off. So better to be careful again. That's what this base is trying to do, is have your bombardiers peek out the left, and then the shock blaster takes them out. So if you lose just a few of them, your attack slows down immensely. So I've got my other troops coming in to assist. Final boat of heavies coming in again to take the distraction off the shock blaster. And he had a nice little shock here. You see I got the shock launcher and the shock blaster in one. If you're using the Sky Shield, you really don't want to have those 2 defenses able to be shocked still by 1. You want to keep them to where it takes 1 each, or ideally where you can't even shock one of those buildings. So just some tips with the Sky Shield. Usually we don't get them this early, which is sort of, it's nice for a change. And then I think that second wind cost 38, so I mean I still had a ton of GBE with this giant clump to do another second wind and take my time getting through this last little part. And I could even start flaring engine rooms at this point if I'm trying to be fast, which I do here at the end, but I could have done, you know, another 10-15 seconds sooner probably. So I end up going into a live one here, or it was live when I was recording it. And I get my friend Bo here. I got to play him yesterday on a base, and he changed it to one of these leaderboard bases, and I got to see what the guys at the top are doing right now. So shout out to Bo, really good warship player. There he is. This base, a lot of the top leaderboard players are rocking it right now, so I got to take a crack at it. He's got, you know, everything max, rocket launchers, almost max, besides the rocket launchers. So I still, you know, I don't really think I can split that right side and still take out the left, so I figured I'd be careful, just go up the left side and then come around the right. I'm just looking for boom mines, deciding what I'm gonna do. These bases are taking a lot longer to scout, that's for sure. There's a lot going on in the 5 engine room bases. Okay. So gonna start with the left side again. I'm just gonna use 3 boats of troops, 1 rifleman, 2 bombardier. I don't want to spin too many boats over there because I'm gonna need them on the right side to do my staggered drops, even with Kavan. So I'm just gonna take out this boom mine in the meantime and let that left side go to work. So just taking my time. They're gonna clear that mine, or the mine out behind the trophy. Still people like to hide them there, so keep an eye out. A little bit of a med kit, keep them through the flamethrowers, and that way I don't have to use anything else to get through this last little bit. The riflemen should be able to last while I take out the boom cannon. So they're gonna wrap up there, and then gonna drop the rest over here so that those guys join into the fight at about the same time. I've already lost a minute here, so it's just a little slow going. But, you know, it's a defensive battle, so better safe than sorry right now, at least. And got my next drops. I thought more of those critters would go to the left. I start smoking Kavan. He peeked out. I got a little too close before I changed my mind and realized I wanted to attack from the right. So I don't know. I probably could have just let it happen, but I wanted to go to the right for some reason. I don't know. I should have just let my troops do what they were doing, I think, and I would have saved a little bit of time. So I've got all my troops out now, just waiting on this last boat of heavies, and I've still got a lot of the base left compared to some of the other attacks I showed you. And he's got a lot of these defenses. I saved the heavies for last. I was hoping to get through this little row of 4 cannons that were there before the heavies came in. So then after these cannons, there's just 1 boom cannon and then the shock blaster. But they got there just a little early. And then looks like I've got a good wall. I've got riflemen and heavies going on, so that's a good mix to have. But my second wind has gotten fairly expensive by this point. Mines are still taking out stuff. That shock blaster is basically the last building I'm going to take out in this base. It's so far back. It's one of the last buildings. And my whole right side is gone. And then I lose Kavan. I couldn't get enough GBE to get another second wind. So lose Kavan, but at this point, I know I've basically got it, so I'm just going to finish it really quickly before I can get taken out here. I saw that he already finished my base, so I'm just finishing fast. And then he gets me by a couple seconds. So I talked to him later. He said he made a mistake. I made a mistake, so we both made mistakes, learned from our mistakes. I'm going to show you his replay. We both did reflares that could have been avoided, I would say. So he's got some bombardiers going into that minefield. And again, I'm just still checking. Oh, wait, no. I got cut off, so I had to refilm. Here we go. And then that's me. That's not the one we want. My bad. Sorry about that, guys. Here's his replay. So he does do a split, whereas I didn't. So it's a little bit faster. Might be part of the reason why he edged me out. And going to that right side. He's going through the minefield a little, but he's able to make it through without losing any bombardiers, I don't think. And then he's got no troops left outside of Sparky and bombardiers on this right side, and he's got a whole shock blaster to get through, which is crazy that he's actually getting through this. He had a lot of spare GBE there to be able to get through, but he realizes that, you know, he wasn't going to make it, so then he reflares back, lets his riflemen get in front, and then lets Sparky make some critters, and then goes from there. So really cool reflare by him, and it's what won him the battle. If he'd continued with it, it would have failed. So, you know, it added a lot of time, but sometimes that's what you got to do. So overall, 2 thumbs up for Kavan. He's been a big help, as you can see, with my offense from no hero to him. I feel like I can beat every base now. Some are a little tough, but at least I can get through, and I know that's a trouble for a lot of you guys right now. It's just getting through the bases. I think Kavan will allow you to do that a little bit better than Bullet and Sparky, as you saw with Sparky there. And then Bullet still fails sometimes on this base. So I think Kavan is worth it if you can get to him. If you don't have a hero and can wait, do so. But otherwise, happy booming, everyone, and enjoy the Warship season. It's a bit of a grind. Upgrade your defense. It's going to be a defensive season, as I've said earlier. And I think I'm going to get rocket launchers next. I'm gonna change my base too, so it's a little more anti-seeker. But rocket launchers, anti-seeker base, and then we'll see how high I can get. I'm finally able to push because I have Kavan, so that'll be really nice. All right, well, thank you everyone, and I'll see y'all next time.